our final game for today. Casting it shall be Shoofly Pie and Hunter. Gentlemen, are you ready?
Let's do this.
And let's go in 3, 2. Take it away.
Okay, and going into our final match of the day, final highlight, we have Classic Metal to the north corner of the map in blue versus his opponent Xiniu in the green to the south end. And looking at the map, Classic Metal's off in this nice snug little corner, only one little entrance there, and he has a windmill right next to him with pretty much the same entrance, so it's easy enough to cover, while Xiniu has pretty much complete control of this entire eastern end of the map. He can do whatever he wants with all of these windmills.
Yeah. Classic Metal's going to have to take a little bit more control early on, because he can't really sit back and wait to play the late game, because he doesn't have ferrets, so he's not really going to be able to contest any of Xiniu's back expansions, without going through the front door.
Yeah, Classic's definitely going to have to be more aggressive with his positioning and his build order. He's going with 7 farm lizards into the 8th farm. Xiniu actually looked like he did the same, or was that the 8th farm and then the lizards? I don't know. It seems like it was a bit later on the lizards.
One thing to note is Xiniu is running barbed wire this game, and since there's only that relatively small area to get into his side of the map, he can completely lock it down. The only thing Classic Metal has to bust through that is the lizards, which, while they can take it down pretty effectively, if Xiniu has his army backing it up, they can take out the lizards while they're attacking the barbed wire.
Yeah, Xiniu, with this warren placement, he has natural access to his next expansion, the Zone of Control, easily giving him the control over that. There's no way Classic Metal is going to be able to stop him from building that very easily. And Classic Metal is going straight up to 12 lizards. But Xiniu has to counter to it. He has 2 warrens of toads on the way. He did spot the amount of lizards, and he did swap out his warrens for more toads. So he has 6 lizards, 6 toads, and 3 pigeons. And Classic Metal can build the same amount, really. He has the exact same tier 1 build order. So both players just building up their armies right now. Classic Metal could possibly, if he built those skunks, these might be pretty useful against the enemy army. Obviously, the lizards can run through them pretty fast, but against these tier 1 armies, skunks can do pretty well, especially in enclosed areas. If you're planning on fighting in the same place over and over, that skunk gas can build up pretty quickly. Of course, on the current patch, the skunk gas fades over 15 seconds, but over on this patch that we're watching, patch 21, the skunk gas lasts 30 seconds.
Xiniu now has ferrets on the way, so we might see some action break out soon as he has the ferret project. He does have a tile of barbed wire placed right there in the front, and Classic Metal sees that and decides not to start attacking yet. Both players starting their expansion, and Xiniu's got this nice fence of barbed wire protecting him right now. Classic Metal is trying to wrap around, but there's already barbed wire on that side as well. But Xiniu's army is not quite as in position to respond right away. He takes out a pile of barbed wire and pulls back. He lost a few units, but it helps break that fence a little bit for him to get back through next time.
It's easy enough for him to rebuild that, though. It only takes a couple of seconds. And it's surprising the amount of damage that barbed wire actually did to all of those lizards. He was only there for a couple of seconds, and it already took them down to about 2/3 of their health. So he needs to be careful with that. With those pigeons around, he needs to make sure those are healing correctly. Classic Metal going up to 14 farms, so he's almost completely filling out his expansion. Xiniu only on 4 farms on his expansion. Yeah. Because Xiniu has the advantage in the longer game where all of the expansions behind him are also available to him.
I do think it's good that Classic Metal is choosing to focus on economy for right now, because it's going to take a larger force than he currently has to be able to break through that entrenched position that Xiniu has. So he's trying to farm up for a little bit and have a larger force to try to break through in one large push.
Yeah, that's definitely the way he needs to do it. He's not going to be able to outlast Xiniu by constantly poking. He's going to need a critical mass of units. And he's building a lot of skunks right now, and snakes too. So he's got a warren of snakes and 2 warrens of skunks building right now. Those are going to be the crux of his force. And Xiniu with a lot of lizards, going up to 15. ClassicMetal with the 9 toads should be a good counter though. Both players actually have the 9 toads. ClassicMetal building more pigeons could be good for making his force last a bit longer.
Yeah, one thing Xiniu's not doing right now is he's not using his ferrets to poke at ClassicMetal's army just standing there. I guess he's a little bit too afraid of the swift lizards chasing down his ferrets. He might have been able to create some space for them to poke if he goes forward by bar, but a fight is starting now.
Massive clash in the middle of the ground here, but with the counter-attack from Xiniu, all those toads completely destroy ClassicMetal's lizard army. ClassicMetal holds on with a couple of his skunks though. At the first start of the fight, he was poking with those skunks pretty well, but as soon as the clash in the middle happened, all those toads exploded. You saw that ClassicMetal fell behind a little bit. He got a good amount out of that fight though. He took out a pig, and looking at the army value graph, both players dipped fairly evenly, so it was a fairly even fight. But now Xiniu is making the most out of these ferrets and is poking a little bit. Both players rebuilding up their forces right now.
Xiniu started his fox now.
Yep, he started that fox. That's going to be really strong. But in the meantime, Xiniu hasn't actually been scouting at all during this match, and that could be a slight mistake. He doesn't know exactly what ClassicMetal's been planning. And in the meantime, while he's off taking that windmill south of ClassicMetal's, ClassicMetal has been poking. And right now, a clash in the middle. Ooh! ClassicMetal manages to take out the entire rest of the army while Xiniu tries to get his lizards towards the back. But it didn't really work out. His entire army just gets taken apart one by one. And with all of these pigeons healing up these tier 2 units, he's got a very powerful force to be pushing in. He needs to be careful with these reinforcements though, with all these warrens. Ooh, some of his snakes get taken out. That one snake on 1 HP, if he can keep that alive, that could be a big deal. But that fox takes out. The fox is out now. This is a big deal against this army. These pigeons aren't going to do much against the fox. If ClassicMetal can somehow push in and get this fox, that could be a big deal. Look at all this gas. This gas is completely covering the field here. This is ridiculous, the amount of gas that's out now. And ClassicMetal is constantly reinforcing while Xiniu barely has any warrens out. Oh, but his force is rather low right now, and this fox is taking out every reinforcement. He needs to be careful how far he pushes in now.
Yeah, he may be overextending slightly. These units are trapped right now, so he's just trying to get as much value out of them as he can.
But he's gone down to 7 farms now, though, so he needs to be careful. He's not reinforcing it anywhere near as much as before, so it's going to take ages for his army to get big enough to attack again. And when he's streaming in units one by one and they're getting taken out for free, he's not getting very good deals out of it. And Xiniu now has slightly better army value in terms of raw value. But if ClassicMetal can just restore up to the point he has with all of these warrens up, maybe he can make something out of this. And Xiniu's just pushing forward with this fox.
Alright, sorry about that, we're back.
So, ClassicMetal rebuilding his army. He sells all of the skunks. He doesn't really need them anymore now that that tier 1 army from Xiniu is eradicated. All those warriors got taken out in the last fight. And he's just building these snakes, which can be very useful. He's making sure to take out this barbed wire before going in again. He needs to be careful. These toad explosions go off. But ClassicMetal still has much of his army. He's losing it fairly rapidly against the enemy, though. Those second sets of toad explosions do really well against ClassicMetal's lizards. But Xiniu's left with nothing but a fox left. That's all he has.
And he's only got so much space to run.
Ooh, he's controlling it fairly well, though. It takes out enough units that ClassicMetal just can't choose to chase him anymore. He doesn't have enough lizards to be able to catch up. And now he's just caught out of position. Snakes are doing well at poisoning everything. He's got a Warren on a timer, ready to die. But Xiniu is making
ClassicMetal is
most of
only
his
on
time.
one farm. He doesn't have the food to rebuild his army.
Oh, this is so close right now. ClassicMetal's going to need to sell a lot of these Warrens, and he has no choice of... He has no way of getting any more expansions, really, unless he can somehow take this forward windmill. And with Xiniu's defensive position on the map right now, this might be the perfect time. Xiniu and just managing his own farms right now.
ClassicMetal's now starving. He needs to build that mill and build a farm in it right away.
Okay, he's built that mill, and Xiniu has no idea. He's still fussing over his own territory. And in the meantime, ClassicMetal's just pushing forward. Xiniu left his fox way too far back, and he manages to take out that Warren. That's a big deal. But he's got no farms right now, and the starvation time is going off, and he has no food to build a farm right now. He needs to queue one and then sell something. He needs to sell that MG nest, and he does. Okay, so that farm is now building. And Xiniu is poking with his fox, but he can't get away from these lizards. If that fox goes down, that could be a massive deal. Oh, he's just chasing it around everywhere.
Can he bring the fox out?
Oh,
no. But it's gonna get in the water.
Oh, the fox
survives with 1 HP. Oh, but the lizards are still chasing.
They just catch up, going across that road, getting that extra movement speed.
Alright, now it's 9 lizards to 4, and no wards on Xiniu's side.
But all these pigs are doing damage as well. And Xiniu has a couple of pigeons as well, so these lizards actually get taken out. And ClassicMetal has nothing left really other than Warrens. He's going to need to sell these Warrens, and maybe he does need to focus on economy again. Maybe this just goes back to square one. It's 50 seconds into the game again.
Yeah.
No, he's deciding to just focus on building an army right now, it seems.
Yeah, Xiniu should probably sell his fox Warren because he's not going to be able to save up enough food to build it again. So he should definitely recoup that 240 food investment and just build some tier 1 Warrens.
Maybe he's hoping that he can actually get it out at some point. I don't think it's going to happen though. And ClassicMetal's feeling him out. He does sell that Fox Warren now, before it gets taken out by ClassicMetal. But in response, ClassicMetal takes out a different Warren. He takes out a Lizard Warren. It's fairly even numbers, though. This could be tough for ClassicMetal. And Xiniu's put down a lot of Lizards to his rear. Ooh, ClassicMetal drags out his army. Oh, but that pigeon makes all the difference.
Makes a
big... Yeah, that ClassicMetal actually had the advantage in numbers there. But thanks to that pigeon, Xiniu survives with 3 lizards. That was a big deal. And ClassicMetal has no farms up right now, while Xiniu has 5.
Yeah, this might be the end.
Oh no! And Xiniu managed to take that game from the brink of disaster. Wow, that was a ridiculous game.
What a match to end on.
Yeah, both players played really well there. ClassicMetal definitely doing exactly what he needed to. It just wasn't enough. And Xiniu making great plays with the zone he had. He had a great starting position and he used it well. He didn't need to be aggressive at all. He can just stay defensive like that. And it paid off for him eventually, after he lost everything.
Oh,
it looks
seems Lacante is gone, so I guess we'll do sign off. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. This has been the final highlight, and we're going to have a 2-week break before the finals kick off, because we're going to take a break next week. Because everyone will be...
Isn't it, for Americans. So we hope you have a good time at Thanksgiving. And we're very much looking forward to seeing all the players in the finals. I believe there are a couple of games left to play, so we're still not sure on who's going to be there. But I can assure you it's going to be a very close contention for these playoffs. And it's going to be a really great set of matches. So we hope to see you all there. This has been Shoofly Pie, Hunter, and Lacante, with AV in the background doing all of the technical work. Thank you very much for watching Clash of Comrades November Knockout Week 3 highlights.